Michaela Chester for NCAA Digital. I am joined by Megan Langenfeld from UCLA. I'm going to take you back to that senior season. You had an unbelievable week in Oklahoma City. I'm talking a 706 batting average, 3 victories in the circle, 4 home runs. Can you take me through that whole stretch and everything you remember from that week?
Yeah, so I was fortunate. I had some awesome teammates, and we kind of all were firing on all cylinders. So it was special in that if I didn't get it done in an at bat, that I knew my teammates were going to help me out. But for me specifically, it was like the the ball looked a little bit like a watermelon, so I was seeing it well. But also it seemed that everything was in slow motion. And I know kind of former athletes and hopefully current athletes, when they say that you're in the zone, kind of quote unquote, that's kind of what it felt like. It felt like everything was super slow. The ball kind of felt like it was floating to me. That's kind of a weird thought, but it was extremely slow. And so I compare it to my first time playing in the Women's College World Series in Oklahoma City in 2008. And you talk about polar opposites of the game going by way too fast and you can't remember it, and then you blink and it's suddenly over, to complete opposite of 2010 where everything was in slow motion. So obviously 2010 was a good year and a good series for myself, but I also had a lot of help with my teammates.
Yeah, and I'm going to take you to game one of the 2010 championship series against Arizona. And now, this one, you said you were seeing it like a watermelon. You must have been seeing it like a beach ball in this one because you went 4 for 5, 2 home runs, and then the walk-off bomb. What do you remember from that game? Take me through that one.
I remember, I remember preparing for Arizona, and it would have been it was going to be our 4th time seeing them. So I was a little nervous because at that point you know each other so well. So you go from playing checkers against somebody to playing chess, if that makes sense. And so I remember trying to prepare for them as much as possible in the circle, and also having a pretty good idea of what Kinsey Fowler was going to try and do to our offense. So in terms of the actual outcomes, it honestly is just a blur. It starts to kind of fade in and out. I remember trying to get jammed, or at least Kenzie trying to jam me early in the game, and then she ended up finishing the game outside, and that was kind of the pitch I was looking for with the walk-off. So I remember, again, it was more of a chess match between the coaching staffs and also the players.
Let's pull up. I'm going to have you pull up that last at bat.
Sure.
And this is when it's tied 5-5, and you step up into the batter's box, and you had been doing well off of her all game. Obviously, you had 2 singles and a home run already, but you did strike out once on a similar pitch. And then this one comes up, and you weren't fooled again. You hit it out of the park. What was take me through that entire at bat?
Yeah, you nailed it right on the head. I remember we went up, I think, on them, and I remember like we were up by 1, and it was I think top of the 7th or something like that. And I remember thinking to myself, I don't care about this at bat. Like, I just need to go back out in the circle and get 3 outs, and we go up 1-0. And so I ended up swinging and missing and just looking bad on my strikeout. However, on the home run, I had a really good feeling. I was looking for that pitch. I figured she would go back to it again. She had success with it. And so I was fortunate that I just kind of changed my angle of my bat. So instead of missing under, I was trying to get kind of right on time with it. So it ended up working out, but I was definitely looking for that same pitch I struck out.
As you watch yourself rounding the bases, what were your emotions during that?
Relief, for sure. There was for sure relief, excitement, and I don't know, there's always this great rivalry between Arizona softball and UCLA softball. So I had a little bit of a chip on my shoulder, knowing that Arizona had been very successful. At that point, it was pretty recent. And so rounding the bases, I was pumped that we finally got kind of that one leg up on them, at least in game 1. And so, yeah, definitely an exciting moment. Like I said, everything was a blur, probably besides that moment. That moment's pretty vivid, pretty crystal clear.
Now I'm going to take you to the national championship. It's your senior season, and you bring the title back to UCLA in 2010. What was that like in your senior year?
It was fantastic. I mean, there's not too many people that can end their season on a win, but to also end your collegiate career on a win is pretty cool. There's not too many people that get to do that. So to bring back a championship was awesome in my senior season and my teammates' senior season. But also at that point, UCLA had not won a championship since 2004. So it kind of felt like we got the monkey off of our back a little bit. And there was a lot of, I guess, news in the softball world that where's UCLA at and what happened to this great mystique, and it felt kind of proud to bring back that championship feeling back to UCLA.
Well, thank you so much, Megan, for reliving those
Yeah,
memories with us today.
yeah, absolutely. Thank you for having me.